Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to NOLA Theatre Talk. My name is Alan Smason, and we broadcast on the NOLA Theatre Folk Facebook group, on the theatrecriticism.com Facebook page, which is not the theatrecriticism.com website, but the Facebook page we use for the social media promotions, as well as my own YouTube channel. You can look it up either through the name there or through my own name. And we appreciate your check out. Again, tonight, you can see above me there, that's the Louisiana Philharmonic. And the first half hour of our hour-long program tonight will be a salute to the cultural season of 2025-26 as the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra has unveiled its new season. So we want everybody to please bear with us. We're going to bring in a couple of persons who are of I would say, well-known stature with the LPO. One of whom is the executive director, and I'm going to bring him in, Anwar Nasir. Anwar, you've been on the program before, so we know exactly what to expect. We were having a little bit of trouble with the sound, but I think it's all evened out now. And
I think we're good.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the LPO because and unfortunately, I did ask one of the members in your staff to send me some pictures that we'll be able to put up. Unfortunately, I didn't get those pictures sent to me till this morning, and I was driving all the way in from where I was visiting my family, so I've not been able to put those up. While we're talking, try to get those pictures up, and we can then devote some time to that. But how many years have you been? Is this your third year?
This is my fourth season.
Fourth season, okay.
Yes.
But, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah,
time flies, yeah.
We got in during the pandemic, is right?
Yeah, right towards what we thought was a tail end of the pandemic, and then we got it kind of sprinkled on for a little bit further. But it's amazing to see how much growth this orchestra has had over the last few years, and I'm just immensely excited to just be a part of this LPO family.
So again, when you came on board, was the maestro, was Matthew Kramer already here, or was Carlo Prieto still
yes,
doing his thing? But he was announced as leaving at that point, right?
Yes, yeah, he had announced that he was leaving. So we had his final season 2 seasons ago, and it was really wonderful to get to work with him for a few years. I mean, he's such an amazing gentleman, and obviously a fantastic musician. So getting to learn from him and getting to work with him over my first couple of years, just while I got to learn the city a little bit more and get to know the orchestra. He was a great partner, and I'm glad that I got that experience.
Well, I almost think the very first year or two, you try to avoid having the old guard come back because you want the new conductor, artistic director to have full sway and have his vision realized. But is there any thought now to maybe having Carlo come in as a guest conductor on any occasion coming soon?
Yeah. I mean, we would love to have him back. I mean, his schedule is so busy. I mean, he's also getting settled in North Carolina, and we want to make sure that he has time to make that band his as well. So it really just comes down to scheduling. I know that he wants to come back, and we wanted him to get it back. We just got to get all the stars to align.
It would be lovely because, I mean, he is, like you said, such a great guy, and he had such a great reputation with, I think, the members of the LPO as well. And to be, perfectly frank, I know that in the past, we've had, several previous conductors who had retired, came back, and so it's not something that's unheard of. So, so let me ask you if you could please run down the season that was announced just a few weeks ago. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're trying to do? I know you've really started to bring out a lot of members of the LPO as soloists, and I know that's part of what this season is going to be about, right? Because is it a special year for the anniversary, or?
Yeah, it's our 35th season. It's not a big, it's not like a 40th or a 50th. But it's still anytime we get to make some music together, I think is always a cause for celebration. So it's a really amazing time. I mean, many folks know that the orchestra is musician owned and governed and collaboratively operated. So we want to be in a space where we can obviously uplift our musicians and feature them as much as possible, because they live here in New Orleans. They make this city their home. We're not flying folks in from, around the world to play in our band week in, week out. They're right here in our community. So it's really nice to be able to feature just the really wonderfully talented musicians of the orchestra right here center stage. So it's a really, really wonderful opportunity. So I would say that there's the season that we have ahead for us. There's a lot of things that we know and love that I think that people are going to be really excited about. Our opening night for our subscription series is going to be Verdi's Requiem, which I think is obviously one of their great masterpieces in the repertoire. That if you haven't been to an orchestra concert, you know this music. You've heard it. It's been around. It's used in commercials and movies and everything. So I would say it's a great opportunity to get to come and hear the orchestra for the first time if you haven't done it.
And of course, we're going to be talking in the next half hour with the New Orleans Opera Association. But the LPO is an integral partners, if you will, with the opera. So not only do you perform for your own audience, but you also perform for many of the others out there that are piggybacking on the LPO as well. So
yeah, absolutely. We have some really, really wonderful partners. I mean, we're partnering with New Orleans Opera on a few things. Obviously, the Requiem is a major choral work. Their subscribers are going to be able to come to our Classical Christmas, which is our annual presentation of Messiah. So, between the opera, the ballet, so many other just organizations around town, if you're hearing music in the city, you have a good chance that you're also hearing the LPO as a part of it. So let me just say one of the other things too is that you all are also striving to get more people into the Orpheum, which is your home base, but yes. People that might not have been exposed to classical music of the same type, that you're trying to expose them to newer kinds of classical music to bring in a more diverse audience too, right? 100%. I mean, I think that we have to be in a space where we are being good stewards of this amazing art form, this amazing tradition that is orchestral music. So that means working with up and coming composers, working with local artists, really presenting new music. And sometimes people think new music is really that it's being premiered that night, but it could have been written within the last few years, but it's never been played here in the city before. So we like to obviously go back, as far back as we can go and play, all of the great masters from the Beethoven and Brahms and Dvorak on the season, but also playing music that's just been written. We're going to be premiering a new piece by James Lee III. It's a new piano concerto. He's going to be coming down, and it's written in a space where it's going to have some familiar themes. It's paired with some Duke Ellington, and it's just going to be a really, really fantastic evening. So I think that there's a lot of new music that folks are going to be able to know and love, but that feels like it's been written in a great tradition.
And again, we mentioned some of the soloists who are going to be taking part. Let's bring in one of the soloists, your percussionist, Aaron Smith. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody.
We appreciate you being on today. Again, you are one of those percussionists that we all get to hear a lot, but don't get to see too much because a lot of times in the audience, the percussionists are all the way in the back, and so it's difficult to see you all doing your thing. But how long have you been with the LPO?
So this is my third season, tail end of my third season.
And
1 year after Anwar.
Okay, and it was Jim, one of the founding members. Was Jim working back there with you still?
Yeah, Jim was there for my first season, and then last season we hired our new timpanist, Megan.
Yeah. So and again, it's really wonderful when you have the old guard and the new coming in together. You get to experience that together. Aaron, what program are you going to be featured in?
So I'm playing Emmanuel Sejourné. He's a French, mostly percussion composer. I'm playing his marimba concerto on the program is on April 16th. It's also featuring Dvorak's Symphony No. 7 and a newer piece called Dust Devils. So it should be really fun. Like you said, I'm really excited to get out from the back of the orchestra and people will actually get to see my face. So yeah, it should be really fun. Also, it's just an art form that people don't really get to see. I would be willing to bet that most people have never seen a 4-mallet marimba solo, let alone a full 25, 30-minute concerto for it. So it should be really exciting, something different that a lot of people have never seen before.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a concerto for marimba, although we have had several pieces have marimba featured in it, from time to time. I'm trying to remember what the pieces, the Cacciatorian, what do they use in the
well, there's saber dance. I believe I think that's marimba. I can't remember. Marimba.
I think it might be. It's just, the whole thing. Anybody who saw the movie 1, 2, 3, they know the saber dance. So that was but anyway, I have to say that it's a great pleasure to have you as one of the soloists. I've got pictures of several of the other soloists I'm trying to throw up as well, I know I have your picture as well that I'm going to be probably throwing up, but that's going to be, you said, the 16th.
April 16th of 2026.
2026. So it's already past the 16th now. So we're looking at next year.
Yep.
So you have a whole year to prepare for this. Now, in a case like that, do you start to work on the rehearsals for this with with the other members, or do you do it all on your own and then you sort of fly in with the conductor and go over the piece? Then how does that work?
Yeah, so generally speaking, I mean, I'm probably going to spend the next 10 to 11 months hiding in a hole and learning all these notes. This piece is very substantial. We're percussionists, especially in the orchestra. We're not used to having to learn this much notes that everybody's going to be listening to. So, so it is going to be a lot of work. And then I don't know when exactly Kalina is going to get into town, but I would imagine we'll probably work for the first time together just a few days before. We might have a Zoom call or something about a month out to and that's go over some vague ideas. But and then really just with the other musicians, first time they're going to see it is going to be the Tuesday before. So April 14th, yes. We'll see it.
So your conductor is going to be Kalina, right?
Yep, bingo. That's her.
Okay, so see, I get some things done. Fantastic. and she's already been featured. Wasn't she on one of the programs this past year?
She has conducted a handful of things. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this will be her third time leading the orchestra.
A handful of what I'm drinking tonight. Just got finished the Jewish holidays of Passover, and you're not allowed to have grains. So this is my first scotch. This is Glenlivet 12. Where the heck is it? There it is. So there it is.
There you
go. Now, what's interesting is this is a square. See, it's square, but it's got a round cube, if you would, for the ice. It's a round ball. And so I'm having a square with a round. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so that's my
square peg, round hole, right?
So there you go. And hopefully that'll last me for when Lila comes on for the opera too, because I can't do more than one of those right now. So Aaron and Anwar, show us what you brought in the room so we know what you're drinking tonight.
I'm actually drinking out of my Crew of Muses cup, a Miller High Life, a little champagne of beers. Tonight, I felt like it would be a good mood to celebrate with a little champagne.
That's all right. Now, it's okay. Champagne and bottled beers is great. Aaron, what you got?
I've got a good old Juicifer, old standby.
You know what? I mean, great minds think alike. I mean, we all went for grains. Yeah. Mine is a little bit more distilled than yours, but that's okay. Anyway, so all right. So let me throw up a couple of these photos that we were talking about earlier. I've just got to add a few of these in the. Hopefully, we get. I can get these things up. Let's see. Just takes me a couple of seconds to find where they are. Yes. Okay. And then I will, this one, who this is. So without any further ado, need introduction, but we'll give him an introduction just in case. Ta-da!
What a looker.
Now, those are all mallets, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Tell me, are the mallets different sizes? Do they make different sounds? Are they weighted heavily? How does that work?
So those are all in this specific photo. Those would all be for like xylophone or glockenspiel. So they're all made out of different materials. They're all in the same type of shaft. It's just a thin piece of bamboo, but some of them are white, some of them are black, and it's not just the color. It's a different like blend of plastic. I don't really know enough about it. If you look in there, some of them have a like a wrap, like a covering to make it a little softer of an attack. But really what you're changing is there's basically two things: the hardness of the material and the weight/weight distribution, which can make louder sounds or make it sound heavier or darker, stuff like that.
Very interesting. I always wondered, because, when you're a drummer, they have the sticks, etc., but then they have the brushes and other things. And what is the most unusual instrument that you play as a percussionist?
Oh man. I mean, I had to play recently. I had to clink wine glasses with another percussionist on a holiday piece, and about 15 bars into the piece, one of them shattered, which was great. So I was flagging down our operations manager, trying to get him to bring me
another glass.
Yeah, that piece had pop gun to make a cork sound. Water phone is really funky. It's a bunch of sticks and twines, and you bow it around, and it makes this really horror movie kind of sound. We get really weird back there, rubbing things on other things.
But the key is, though, that you are actually striking something to make the sound.
Yeah,
right?
Or I mean, we will bow things, we'll shake things, really whatever a composer asks. Normally, whenever there's a weird instrument, we're the ones who have to play it. So if you're doing wine glasses.
There's one weird sound in one of the Tchaikovsky symphonies. I can't remember which one. It almost sounds like something grinding. You know what I'm talking about? It's either the fourth.
I don't recall it in a symphony, but he did use some like rattle and stuff. Like in Nutcracker, he calls for schnara, which is a weird. It's supposed to imitate the sound of the Nutcracker cracking the nuts.
Okay.
Normally we use like just a wooden ratchet, but it actually is like a traditional Russian instrument that I've never actually.
This sounds almost like a fan hitting something. It's sort of like a grinding sound of some sort. Yeah. I don't know. I could never figure out what it was, but I said, "Is that something defective in my recording?" And I listened, and then I heard the LPO play it live, and I said, "Nope, it's definitely supposed to be in there."
My wife is an audio engineer, and so she does a lot of mixing and mastering of new classical music stuff. And a lot of the time, she has me come in and say, like, "Is that what that's supposed to sound like? Is that something wrong in the recording, or is that just a weird percussion thing that I don't know anything about?" Happens a lot.
So, Anwar, can you tell me a little bit more about some of these other guest soloists? This is Tamastit, or is that the way?
Tamastit. Yeah, okay. So he's an international violist. This is gonna be his second time. He was here along with Alexandra Prussel in October, and they did this really, really wonderful program that was really like a Viennese evening. So this year, it's going to be on October 9th at the Orpheum. They're playing primarily Brahms Hungarian dances, but there's a few other things by Weber, Haydn, Bartok. So, and one of the things that was really interesting, I led the pre-concert talk with Antoine, and he plays on a Stradivarius viola, which, we always hear about the Stradivarius violins, but not very much about the other ones. But the violas are even more rare, and truly just an exceptional musician that, plays around the world, and I think is just like probably one of the most famous violists that exists on the planet these days. So being able to get him in, Alexandra, she's come and played with us quite a bit, and she says that we're her favorite orchestra in the States. And I believe it now. At first, I didn't know if I believed it, but now that I've seen her do this program, I think it's really going to be, a really, really fantastic evening for anybody that wants to come out and hear like a traditional, almost Viennese. And there's no conductor for that program as well. Oh. So they lead the orchestra, and I think it's a really fun experience.
Well, she's quite lovely, and I'm sure as talented as she is, and obviously he's got the viola there, like you said. So I'll look forward to seeing that myself. Then we've got a trombonist, I believe. Is that right?
Absolutely.
This would be Austin. Now,
yeah, Austin Richardson.
He's one of your LPO regulars, correct? One of the.
Absolutely, he's our principal trombonist. I believe this is his third season now. And he's going to be, doing the Carlos Simon Troubled Water for trombone and orchestra, which I think is going to be a really, really special evening. Carlos Simon is a fantastic composer from Atlanta, young guy. I think he's maybe in his 30s or so. And the program's will be led by Matthew Kramer, but it's Florence Price, some Aaron Copland, Samuel Barber. But this piece, like I said, is written by Carlos Simon, called Troubled Water. And sometimes I think it was about his Black experience growing up in the U.S. and really telling just a very unique story. So I think Austin's going to do a fantastic job on this piece. It's, again, new music, but it feels like it's a piece that we've known and loved for a long time.
Very interesting, because I'm looking at some of the other principals you've got that are going to be here as well. And I'm going to try to go through them as well. But I noticed that you've got somebody who's a friend of mine that is a very well-known pianist, and that's Jeffrey
Beagle. Yeah.
Beagle,
yeah, so he's going to be Jeffrey Beagle. He's played with us quite a few times in the past. He's going to be doing the world premiere, James Lee III's Concerto in A, which was written kind of in response, to, and he's also going to be playing the Duke Ellington's New World of Coming. And I think that it's just really a beautiful program that's going to end with Gershwin's American in Paris as well.
Oh, wow. He's very good on that. And that's James Lee, who's the composer.
That's James Lee III right there. Absolutely. Yes. So James is going to come. I believe James is going to come to the performance as well. So folks should come early. Check out, the pre-concert talk.
It's always nice. Always nice to have the composer come and listen to us interpret his music. That's fantastic.
Indeed. And I think there's something that's special about it. And Aaron maybe can speak to this a little bit more. For pieces that were written 100, 200 years ago, we don't have the luxury of being able to have the composer in the room to tell you, like, when I wrote this is what I meant. So being able to play so much new music and then actually have the composer there, I think is really, truly something special.
And again, one of the other composers is going to be a local homegrown composer, Jay Weigel.
Jay Weigel, yes.
Jay used to, of course, be involved over at the Contemporary Arts Center, but he's had several things that the LPO has premiered for him, right?
Indeed. Yeah, the last piece that we played of his was Water's Gravity, that featured so many New Orleans musicians, and it's been really wonderful. And I remember after we played that piece, he said, I'm writing a violin concerto that I want our assistant concertmaster, Hannah Yim, to play. And this is going to be in our chamber orchestra series, which I think is really exciting because they're in a smaller, much more intimate environment. So you're really, really close. And I think the ability to be able to see these fantastic musicians, and where nobody's more than maybe 50 feet from them. And I think to be able to hear, like I said, this new piece that no one has heard before, we're going to do it not only on the South Shore, but on the North Shore as well the following day. And I think that it's just, I don't know, if you haven't been to one of those chamber orchestra concerts at the New Maroney, definitely put these on your bucket list.
And this is Hannah here, correct? This is Hannah?
Yes, that is her.
Okay, so she's going to be doing Jay Weigel's work. And Aaron, do you know the whole season? Have you taken a look and seen what's involved and what you're going to be doing?
Yeah. I've had plenty of time to look at it, and I'm really excited. Looks like a lot of really
aside from the one that you're doing as a soloist, what is the other piece that really strikes you looking forward to seeing?
Oh man, I have my handy brochure here, so I do have a cheat code. I mean, really, there's two pieces that jump out at me. I mean, Stravinsky's Firebird is like one of the first pieces I played in side-by-side orchestra growing up. So just especially the finale just always sticks out at me. It's like one of the greatest endings ever written in classical music. I mean, just fantastic music. But really, the whole thing, I mean, the Ronde of Princesses is just such amazing, amazing music. And then I'm also really excited for actually the program that Anwar was just talking about that features Austin, the Samuel Barber Symphony 1 and Copland's Rodeo. Two of my favorite American composers, right back to back. So different, but also so quintessentially American. That's going to be such a great concert.
Well, like I say, you've got a lot of different kinds of composers and different kinds of music. And again, the soloists many of them are coming from the ranks of the LPO. There are people, obviously, you're bringing in like Jeffrey, who are not regulars with the LPO, but who have played before. So it's a good fit. Anwar, what do you want people to know about him? Are the tickets, the season series, available now? Are they available? Tell me a little bit about that, because we need to let people know, if they are excited about the season, where to get their season tickets now.
Yeah, so subscription packages are on sale right now at lpomusic.com. We have packages that start for as few concerts as 5 or 6. So you don't have to commit to a full 12 concert season. I mean, I think it's probably one of the best ways to really get to know the orchestra and really get to hear everything. And packages are incredibly affordable, I would say. So, there's a great benefit. So like if you can't make a night, then you can always exchange that into another performance at no cost, which is really, really wonderful. And then understanding that, like, when you go ahead and you make that subscription purchase, you know exactly what it is that you're going to be able to do on those nights. And most of them, like, you're locked in on your seats. So you know that everybody's going to be right there along with you. And it's just going to be a really, really wonderful night to just go ahead and commit to getting some good music. So lpomusic.com. Like I said, I think packages start as low as $138. So they're incredibly affordable. And we also do payment plans as well. So if someone says, I can't put down the whole thing today, you can go ahead and call the box office and they can set you up on a payment plan too.
And if I may mention too, we talked about soloists, but they do have a number of people. We showed one already, who I believe it was Carlina, right? But we also have Joshua Gerson, who is going to be a guest conductor. What program is that going to be?
Yeah, so this is going to be a really, really fun program. He's doing the big piece on the second half is Elgar's Enigma Variations, which I think we all know and love as one of the true pieces of music that are in the canon that I think everyone you can't walk away from hearing that Enigma Variations and not telling that story of all of his friends, and I don't know, it just is I just always get so emotional whenever I hear that piece.
Where's he from, Gerson?
I believe he's from New York.
Okay.
So he's a U.S. born guy.
Okay. Well, with a name like Joshua Gerson, he might be a nice Jewish boy too.
he just might be.
Anyway, so we're getting towards the tail end. I don't yet see Lila in the room. So when she comes in, I'll hopefully be able to make that transition. But I am hoping that she'll show up soon, so I don't get a little nervous.
Yeah, one other thing on that program as well is I'm sorry, I got my programs confused. Matthew Kramer is leading that Enigma Variations program.
Okay.
Yeah, so Josh Gerson is actually working with Shaquille Southwell, our principal clarinetist, to do the Mozart Clarinet Concerto and Brahms' First Symphony as well. So I just wanted to clear that up because I think that it's going to be, if you have not heard Shaq play before, I think it's going to be, you're in for a treat. So I think one of the special things I think with all of our, not only just the principal players, but really many of the musicians in the orchestra are just really, really fantastic, not only as an ensemble, but to Aaron's point, to be able to come up front and be featured as a soloist so you really get to see their artistry up close is going to be really, really wonderful. So you generally always can hear them, right? But to be able to hear them in this new light, I think is going to be really wonderful. So I think this is his second time coming in and conduct the orchestra. So coming for Mozart, Brahms, and Valerie Coleman, is her Emoji Anthem for Unity is a really beautiful piece too.
So again, the season's going to start usually in October, right? That's when we usually.
Yes, no, it normally starts in September. So, and we have some more things that we're going to be announcing in a couple of weeks. Some additions that we're going to be adding into the season that I can't share today, but I think it's going to be good, and everyone's going to love it. So, and one of the benefits of being a subscriber is you get early access. So whenever we announce a new concert, you get access before the general public. So this is a great time to go in and subscribe because when we do announce those things, you'll be able to be first in line to get those added concerts.
All right. Well, and again, Matthew Kramer, the artistic director, and I guess music director in a sense too, of the orchestra. And again, he'll be here again, he's finished for this season, right? He
has one more chamber orchestra concert left.
Small.
Yeah, so we have one more chamber orchestra, and he's doing our City Park concert on April 29th as well. So come out, check it out. Our LPO Academy students are going to be playing as well before the orchestra. So it's going to be a beautiful night under the stars.
Okay. And again, I want to thank you for being here. Again, Aaron, best of luck with everything with with your solo work, and of course with your ensemble work with the LPO as well. Like to have all of you do very well and succeed, and have everybody brimming with success that you were exposed for the first time from coming from the back to the front. So thank God that you'll be able to be seen for the maybe the first time in a bit.
Yeah.
But thank you for being with us. I'm going to go ahead and just assume that there's some kind of a problem with Lila not being here. So we'll address the issue. I'm going to try to get on the horn and see what the story is. But I don't think that it's a good idea to keep you guys longer than the half hour that I promised. And again, I thank you all for being here. And again, I'm going to close out the program, and we'll hopefully figure out what's going on with the Opera Association as soon as we can do that. But again, thank you for being here. Aaron Smith, again, thank you. Stick around for a second. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody here. And Anwar, the same for you. As I announced, basically we'll be back hopefully with the opera very soon. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that. But in the meantime, we've had a wonderful time with the members of the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra tonight. And hopefully you got to find out about the season. LPOmusic.com is where to go. And hopefully you'll be able to check out all the information there. Again, my name is Alan Smason, and this is NOLA Theatre Talk. We broadcast on the NOLA Theatre Folk Facebook group, the theatrecriticism.com Facebook page, my own YouTube channel. And again, for everybody out there, we hope that you'll go check out the LPO, and hopefully we'll have the opera people on soon, and we'll be able to talk about them as well. But I'll check you all out at the theater.